You see the president essentially giving his own properties free advertisements by traveling there at our expense. You see him holding financial interests that leaves us unable to know whether decisions are motivated by policy aims or by personal financial interests. And we've seen sort of a level of carelessness about ethics on the part of senior appointees. I don't know that I'd go so far as to say in most cases they're intentionally pushing the envelope, but it's that a message has been sent from the top, and the tone from the top is everything in ethics, that this just isn't a high priority and not something you need to focus on. We are in a state of crisis right now, and I'm very concerned about the risk to the integrity of government and the perception about the risk to the integrity of government.
So you're talking about a White House that is taking on an inordinate amount of risk, but how do we know, and how do you know, that it's actually not breaking the law or committing any violations?
Well, we can't know, and that's always a problem with an ethics program because it's hard to detect violations and it's really hard to be able to prove them even if you do. The question of whether they're illegal or not, and there are some who shrug this all off and say, well, if it's not illegal, it's fine. That's just not how the ethics program has always worked. I'm not making this stuff up as I go. There's a 1983 OGE opinion that cites a 1974 Department of Justice opinion that says a president should resolve their conflicts of interest. And until now, they all seem to have understood that ever since the enactment of the Ethics in Government Act.
The White House says that you never told it that the president shouldn't be visiting his own properties. Is that true? Did you not warn the White House about this?
Do you have to be told not to give your properties free advertisements? I've talked from the start about the need for him to divest. And I did also have some very specific recommendations, like stop going to your properties or announce that White House officials won't go to those properties. But our hot-headed counsel to the president shouted me down. Now, he recently told somebody he doesn't think that happened, and I don't think he's lying. I just simply think that from his perspective, telling me he didn't want to hear it and talking over me may not have been shouting down, because we didn't get into a shouting match back and forth. I had advice to give, I offered it repeatedly, and he shut us down. But that said, I think I've been very clear and very public, the only way I can, to communicate to the president that his conflicts of interest are a problem and that you want to avoid the appearance of profiting from the presidency. But let's go with the White House statement. Let's say somehow they didn't know it was bad for him to keep going to his properties. Well, I'm telling you right now, stop going to your properties. Tell the White House officials not to go to those properties. So let's see if they take that advice now that they've heard it, since their defense is they weren't aware.